And continuing off from the end of this episode that we just finished recording on Christmas and Jesus and the mushroom in Christian art and the Holy Santa Claus, mushroom shaman, and whatever. Christmas and Christianity is not your main shtick, specifically. You are a historian of magical culture.
Yes.
Is that correct?
And psychedelic culture, specifically in Western Europe.
So the question that I had, and we're going to do two videos. This is one, and then the next one people can find by just following the click over on the end screen after this one, is in all the research you've done over the years, as I've read in your book here, you find some incredibly strange and interesting way that psychedelics have been utilized in magical rituals. But what for you stands out as the strangest magical use of psychedelics you have found throughout all of your research?
Great question. I'd say the times that psychedelics were used in warfare would be there was a Persian emperor. I don't remember. It's just, his name is escaping me at present. But he used to take opium. Like he was so in love with war. He just loved conquering people. He loved taking down enemies. He loved chopping heads off. So he would knock himself. He would take opium and mandrake and things like that, and have visions of killing people. Like. That was it. Like, I mean, when I smoke a joint, I want, peace and love and stuff like that. This dude's smoking a joint, and he's like, running people through with his blade. And so that was interesting. There's also the story of Crisemi, who was a priestess of the mysteries of Hecate, that ended up becoming the general of the Athenian armies. And in one very famous episode, or infamous episode, as the Athenian armies were storming the last Ionian stronghold in the city of Eretri, Crisemi says, "Stop the fighting, stop the fighting, stop the fighting. Somebody get me a bull." So they bring a bull to her. She feeds the bull something. We don't know what it was. I hypothesize a mushroom just because, and I'll get into why that is in a second. So she feeds this bull a mushroom. Leaves it in a stall for about an hour and a half or two, something like that. She walks out right to the enemy lines, this badass priestess walking out there right to the enemy lines, orders an altar be put up, and she has this altar set up. And I mean, this is just like right here in the fucking battlefield. And she orders the bull be brought. And they bring the bull over to her, and she's going to sacrifice it for victory for the Athenian gods. Now, whatever this bull ate caused it to go crazy. And so it got away from her and ran towards the enemy lines, and their soldiers caught the bull, and they start making fun of Crisemi, like, look at this woman you put at the head of your armies. Like, what kind of general is this? And so they slaughter the bull and sacrifice to their Ionian gods. Now, all sacrificial meat was then shared communally. It's how you shared with the gods. You'd sacrifice it and eat it. So whatever Crisemi had fed the bull, which is why I hypothesize a mushroom, because we know that Amanita muscaria is just one example, can go through the urinary tracts. The people, the soldiers started going nuts in the enemy camp. They all started having these psychoactive psychedelic experiences. They didn't know what was going on. And it was at that moment that Crisemi ordered her troops into the enemy camp to slaughter them all. It was kind of like a psychedelic Trojan horse.
Nice.
That was very, very surprising to read. I was like, first that this guy, General Nopus, King Nopus, wanted a woman as the head of his armies. I know we tend to think these days that, women have been oppressed, no doubt, but that doesn't mean that certain women did not rise in the ranks, because they most certainly did. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Crisemi was one of them. And actually, my kitty cat is named, there she is named Crisemi. She's so cute.
And cut.